Okay, well, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the info session about PCS and moving protection with information specific to military and veteran families. So those who are just joining and signing in, you can go ahead and tell us in the chat where you're coming from or what part of the country you are viewing from. My name's Liz Ann Lightfoot. I'm the Director of Marketing at GoVA Foundation. And GoVA is focused on providing financial education and free tools to our military and veteran community. So we want to support everyone to make empowered financial decisions and help you to make the most of your hard-earned money. So thank you so much. I see people are signing into the chat. You can go ahead and use that public chat feature throughout this webinar. You'll be able to ask us questions. We'll be reviewing those comments, and we may or may not have time to address them live, but we will certainly get to them by the end of the session. So today, I am super honored and excited to be joined by Rachel Dooley. She is going to be talking to us from her expertise in both the housing market and in the military community, representing the BBB and the Institute for Marketplace Trust. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. Rachel, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, first off, I want to say a big thank you to you, Liz Ann, for inviting me to speak with your GoVA audience today. And thank you all for being here. Excited to talk about this really important topic. As many of you know, the Better Business Bureau is committed to building trustworthy marketplace, but I am here with the BB Institute for Marketplace Trust. We're the 501c3 educational foundation of the BBB, and our focus is on education and research that helps consumers, especially military families, and helps navigate today's marketplace safely and confidently. Our work falls into three main areas: empowering consumers, supporting small businesses, and conducting research. And for me, I'm Rachel Dooley. I am the program director for Military and Veterans Initiative here at the Institute, and I create curriculum and programming that is surrounded specifically for our military and veterans. And I've had the privilege of supporting military families for several years, particularly in USAREUR during multiple combat brigade deployments. I've also worked in cybercrime space, focused on victim support. And, I've also am an Army spouse and counting. So both professionally and personally, this is important to me. And when it comes to the housing space, I also am a full-time real estate agent. So I understand and have experienced some of these scams and fraud while they're happening. So I am honored to be here today to talk about this today.
And we are so glad to have you. Thanks again for just the wealth of information that you bring to the team. And I think GoVA is super excited to be able to share this. As you know, our audience is all military, either active duty or veteran families and spouses from around the country. GoVA supports a wide variety of financial topics. And so today we're focusing on specifically some of those housing scams and issues related to families on the move. And I want to be clear that this is not just for active duty families preparing to PCS, because these are issues that can happen at any point in your military career, even when you're transitioning out, when you're a veteran family looking to buy that forever home, even when you're a family that hasn't been in the military for years and you're looking to downsize or move closer to family. These are things that are happening right now in our markets, and we just want you to be aware of them. So Rachel is going to be sharing some of the current situations with us. So, Rachel, I know that a lot of our audience has experienced multiple moves. We're certainly experienced with what it takes to relocate across the country, and sometimes we rent, sometimes we buy. But, what is it about our military life and those relocations that really makes this community so, unfortunately, attractive to scammers?
Yeah, each year more than 400,000 military families go through a move. And you can find that on Military OneSource, those stats. And just like you said, as many of us know and are living it maybe right now, it's an incredibly stressful time. You're not just packing boxes, you are buying or selling a home, arranging transportation, finding new schools, healthcare, all of these things, maybe even learning a new language. And when we go through that, it causes high stress, high speed environment, and is exactly what scammers are looking for. So let's dive in. In today's presentation, I'll be sharing insights from our two most recent reports, our 2024 Scam Tracker Risk Report, and also our marketplace challenges facing the military community. So I'll have links for these, but just wanted to point those out, that that's where our stats are coming from today. So when we talk about big life changes, whether planned or unexpected, can make people more vulnerable to scams. In our research, people who had recently retired, lost a spouse, gone through a divorce, and moving reported higher rates of losing money to scams. These transitions come with stress and a lot of decision making, and sometimes gaps in support because we don't have anybody to lean on when we're moving. We might not know some people in the areas, and that's where scammers see opportunity, and they take that. And as we said, on top of just normal, when military community with the military community in transitions happens even more. As many of y'all know firsthand, the arc of the military career brings with a constant chain and pressure, from PCS moves to deployments, ongoing balance of parenting, working, managing finances, and often in unfamiliar places. Then, after separation, veterans face a whole new set of challenges, adjusting to civilian life, finding a new career path, building a trusted network, and starting over in a different financial situation. So when these events happen, it just expands. And this is why scammers target the military, knowing that. And before the scams, in our survey, we asked military consumers to rate how they were doing before and after a scam. And here's what we found. Those who lost money to a scam were often already showing signs of financial distress, even before the scam occurred. Scammers are really good at spotting when someone is under pressure, and that's when they strike. We also saw that many who lost money didn't believe military members would be targeted by scams. This false sense of security is dangerous, and scammers don't care about your rank, your service, or your situation. They care about access and opportunity. Another striking find was those who lost money were more likely to report feeling lonely or living alone before the scam. So what does that tell us? That isolation, stress, and false confidence all increase vulnerability. And that's why it's important to stay connected and inform and talk openly about scams during these big life changes. As we all know, during the moving process, there can be times where you are alone because you get somewhere and you might be separated from your spouse or just family and friends that you don't know. All these things come under pressure, and this is why the military is targeted in these situations. And I also want to bring up that while losing money is often the most obvious harm from scams, it's not the whole story. Many victims also face serious mental health impacts like stress, anxiety, shame, and a loss of trust. I'm going to skip over that one. That was supposed to disappear. Sorry. So that is why. Yeah.
But it sounds like you're really emphasizing that it's the frequent choices and decision making that we have to make in this community, often under stress, because let's face it, PCS moves don't come with convenient timelines. Transitioning out of the military is already stressful. And so into this environment where people are making quick decisions, filling out lots of paperwork, and having to trust new people in new environments, that's what makes us especially vulnerable. And I think it's so important to hear some of those current stories. So I wanted to make sure we can get practical, though. I know you're seeing this as both an expert from the BBB and a real estate professional too. So I want to hear from you. What are some of the current and common rental scams or VA loan purchasing scams that you're seeing right now? Because those of us who haven't been in the environment and haven't bought a home or had to rent in the last couple of years, is probably a whole bunch of new technology that we need to watch out for. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So so let's talk about how these scams and finding housing and what they are. When you're looking for a home quickly, especially from a distance, rental scams can be a real threat, and they are everywhere. Scammers get really creative, and I'll show you some examples here on the next slide of real scam listings. So some will hijack legitimate listings. They'll take real listings pretending to be that landlord. Others create entirely fake rental ads in social media groups, often for places that don't exist or aren't available. And that's why I always say, when you're seeing these things online, use a really discerning eye when you're browsing. Really take a look at them. And here are the red flags to watch out for when you are reading these ads or seeing them. The so-called landlord says they're out of town. They can never meet you. They ask to pay outside of their rental platform. The listing is on a less known site and the rent seems way too low for the area. You're not asked for a background check or a credit check. That is a huge red flag. While it seems great, most landlords, or even private landlords, will not forgo a background or a credit check. They want cash or money transfers up front. They want untraceable money up front. You're pressured to act quickly with your first tactics. These are some of the cases. This is where the cases of doing your homework up front and using resources like BBB Scam Tracker and BBB.org to verify landlords and property management companies can save you thousands and a huge headache during a stressful move. I just know from experience right now, just last week, one of my listings in a neighborhood was broken into, and they gave a false lease to, and this is kind of a whole nother thing. They're actually seeing someone in person posing as an agent and showing the property, writing a false lease, and taking their money. They took $4,000 from the people and they moved them in. This all happened within 4 days, and moved them in. And now, because of the laws in Maryland, we can't get them out. So we have to go through the eviction process now, even though it's not in my name. They weren't the ones who broke in, though. There was another. It's a whole other new scam that is about. They will cut the lockbox off, show it. They advertise it online around the same property, the real address, and they write you a lease. They take the cash. They get you in. I check on the property every week. It's a vacant property, and took 4 days.
Wild. And
yes.
What do you think would have been indicators for that family who probably unknowingly and unsuspectingly thought that they were moving into a legitimate property? Yeah,
so I'm actually going to show you not our exact ad, but what ended up happening to them, because they found it on a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So that will be like when they talked about it, it went from what they seemed was a Facebook ad to a link to a fake website, and they thought it was legitimate. So here, we'll walk through real life rental scams and see how we can discover these false ads. So we'll go through first. This is we're going to do like a reverse image search. Here, we're going to take a look at this rental listing. I live in the Baltimore area. This one is in a Facebook group. As we read the listing, first off says, private landlord. I just need a clean and honest tenant for my place. I do not check credit or any background checks. Those are red flags. Message me with your zip code and note, send me a friend request. Well, why do you need my zip code and why do I have to request your friend request? There's no other details here. Sometimes the address is totally okay because landlords don't want to give out the address on these groups just because they will have people come again, these whole like fake lease things. Sometimes that is a thing, but sometimes they'll say it's located in this zip code area or it's located here. They'll give a lot more info. So then I decided let's go over, I'm going to screenshot this and I'm going to reverse image search. If you don't know how to do a reverse image search, you can use the URL and put it into the search on Google. There are really any of your search engines, or you can just copy paste the image, upload the image into that. I reverse image search it. This is a house that was recently sold in Kentucky.
Not in Maryland.
It is not a home in Maryland. Of course, I did not message this person or anything, so I don't know what would be going on. I do know that at the time, I did report it to Facebook. At the time, it had 19 shares. So people had shared this post with other people and friends. So, that's very kind of shocking. Like, how much information did they collect from people trying to reserve this property? More than likely, they were trying to get quick information, get friend requests to get into other friends, or, to give them fake leases for a deposit and, disappear. All right, here's some more. So that's probably where my couple found first was their, but a reverse image search wouldn't have worked for them. I'll show you the next. Find the scam. So here on these posts, this one, it's an apartment. Everything sounds great. It's beautiful. But they don't name the apartment complex, which is weird. You seem like as an apartment you would. But again, I live in Baltimore. And if you look here, there's palm trees. We don't have a lot of palm trees in Baltimore. They do exist. Some people plant them, but they don't do very well in the Baltimore area. And most apartment complexes don't like the maintenance of palm trees. So this is not right away, 100% not going to be, a real. DM me for more info and pictures. If it's a real apartment, they're just going to put the apartment complex. If she's a condo trying to rent, she would say condo, not apartment. All right. So this one here, townhouse, $1,000 a month. If anybody knows the rental market here, this is not $1,000 a month. This is more close to anywhere, depending on area, $3,000 to $4,500 a month. Also, we don't see a lot of builds that look like this here, but you might not know that coming from that area, but too good to be true pricing. But if you look here at this picture, but then you look at this front door picture, it's not the same house.
Oh, wow.
Interior is different than that exterior photo. So that's another one. And this one does have a link, and I'll show you kind of how those links work in a second. Now, this one, again, private landlord, no credit checks, no background, ready to move in, message me. This one, just right off the bat, the kitchens are not the same.
Yeah, like a stock photo.
Yeah, they're stock photos of kitchens. They didn't even take the time to use the same kitchen. So what, you got two different kitchens in your condo? Like, they're clearly like stock photo or AI kitchens. So so that's what I mean when using an eye to take a look. Don't just right away message these people or contact them. Really take a look. Next up, this is how the person that ended up in our property, the couple ended up on our property, got scammed. So it said rent to own home. This is too good to be true. 750 goes all the way through. Then they click this link. And it goes to a really official HUD-looking website, right? Like, that's the, Department of Housing, Urban. Great. Like, and then it's like, same house, continue, click, right? It's a whole click funnel. Then you go to this website. After you click that, now you're over here. And then you can't see it all here, but it's all collecting more information. I went through this. This doesn't really exist. This is not a real company or website. They're just gathering your information. Now, for our scammer that did ours, she said she clicked it from a group. It came to HUD, and then they just gave the fake agent's phone number, and they called her, and she said she could get her in. So if you ever see a department, like an official government website, take a second and go to the real source. If the house or property isn't there, it's not real. So HUD is HUD.gov. That's it. It's no one should be using. Very few people have official use to use the in partnership or the seals. So don't give your information, go and look. So these are real, those are real false ads that people come in contact with every day. I have even found fake ads placed in military spouse Facebook groups. And it's because those groups sometimes become very large, and even though they do, kind of cull the members sometimes, it's not 100% perfect system. So when when you are searching for a rental, these are some very simple steps. Always, reverse image searching is one of my favorite things to do. Reverse image search it. Search the address. As soon as you learn the address and the contact information, search it over and over again. The contact information for the agent or property management landlord, go to bbb.org, scam tracker, put that information in. Also talk to on-base houses, military spouse groups, even just friends, family, to talk about your experience. Never send money or personal information. Confirm the landlord's identity and property's legitimacy. If you can, work with a licensed agent or property management company that they have a real license. They can also help you find a lot of things and confirm listings are real. And look up licensing on state officials' tools. Every state has a way to look up license numbers. You can look up tax and deed records. Those are public information as well. Request video calls. If there's local rental license ordinances, request that information. And finally, a huge one, even trusted platforms like Zillow and Trulia, those are not immune to scammers. There are listings on there that are scammers. So stay alert and verify everything when it comes to your rental search, and you'll be okay. I promise.
Yeah, that is absolutely shocking, Rachel.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you're sharing this, because I know so many families, including my own, that has to either look for a rental or even buy a home from another state. We bought our current home when we were stationed in California, and the home is on the East Coast. And my husband was deployed to Japan at the time. So you can imagine everything was done virtually from a distance, video calls, e-signing paperwork. And it was definitely a big process to find a real estate agent that could work with us. But having that additional layer of, can I even trust this listing, this person, this agent, needing to verify all of that even to start your process. I think it's so smart to be kind of taking a step back and asking those questions before you even get into trying to move forward on a property. So thank you for sure.
Of course.
For sharing that. And then I know we also want to talk about these VA loan lenders. Obviously, military families qualify for VA loans, and that's a great perk and a benefit that's available to our community. But unfortunately, it also means that there are people who want to reach out and hassle us and give us a hard time and try to scam us out of that. So how does a VA loan scam even work, and what should families be looking for as they're searching for a legitimate lender?
Yeah, of course. So one thing, I won't go through the whole slide, but just like you said, the VA home loan program is one of the most popular and valuable benefit of the military service. And first and foremost, if it's a benefit that you're going to use, I 100% believe for you to make sure you understand that benefit inside and out before you start vetting your lender, so you understand what is available to you and also understand what should not be charged to you, what you should be looking for when it comes to this, because there's a lot of little elements in there and it's all going to vary. So take the time. I have a number here to contact your regional VA so they can kind of walk you through that process. But 100%, it's a great, benefit. So, one of the first, scams are false advertisements. Unfortunately, not every lender out there marketing VA home loans plays by the rules. They use misleading advertising, and it's a serious concern, especially for, veterans and military families. So we'll just kind of break down the common red flags you're going to see. One is implied government or VA affiliation. You can see actually up here, this is actually from an actual case of false advertising. They were using these seals. For the most part, nobody has the right to actually use these seals in their advertisement. So if they apply that they are actually affiliated, there's like this false sense. That's first red flag. Just because a lender uses patriotic imagery or words VA approve doesn't mean they're affiliated with the Department of Veterans Affairs. Always, verify, who they are and what they're doing. Misleading interest rates. Some lenders advertise rates that seem too good to be true, and they often are. Always compare the advertised rate with the APR, your annual percentage rate, to understand the full cost of the loan, because they sometimes will not put that up front 100%. And too good to be true offers. Be wary of claims like zero closing costs. This one I have heard several times. I will not name the lender, but I get people who have pre-approvals and they say, I have been told that I'll have no closing costs. And they also say I have no down payment because they told me zero closing costs. And they hide these misleading fees and terms. There are closing costs, just so everyone knows.
I think that's a really important distinction because it is such a known benefit in the community that, the VA loan, you can buy a home without putting money down, is how we're often sharing it with each other, which is correct if you're talking about a down payment. And I think a lot of people are unaware that those closing costs are completely unrelated to your down payment. And you can go into them more if you would like, but I know that that's a common misconception. I've heard that a lot of military families think a VA loan means you don't pay anything when purchasing the home, and that's not true, and you should not be seeing that.
No. Yes. Closing costs, I won't go too deep into them, but they're typically, at least in Maryland, around 3 to 4% of your sales price of your property. They include taxes, title fees, home insurance. There's things that are in there. There's things that, as in the next one, is hidden in the legal fees, services that can't be charged to a veteran, things that cannot be charged. It used to be that veterans could not pay for termite inspections. That was about 3 years ago, but now they can. So that's something that now, like, these things change, hence why you need to have a good VA home loan. But yeah, so you have to know, and that's why these hidden or legal fees are so important, because as you said, some people don't understand the closing costs all the way, and when they're coming in, at a very thin, and all of a sudden you get close to that closing table and you're under contract and you're short like $4,000, this could mean losing a home, owing the seller money because you weren't able to perform, and all kinds of things. And then now you're out of housing. There's a lot of things there. And again, misrepresented costs. To look closely how costs are being represented on your fees. They might downplay in marketing, and then it shows up later in the process. So be very careful, fine line, and have them explain everything to you for VA home loans and the false advertising. So another thing is actually going to be refinancing offer loans. So if you have a VA loan, chances are you've already seen unsolicited offers to refinance your mortgage. After often appearing official and sounding too good to be true, let's break down what these red flags are. They say skip 1 or 2 mortgage payments. Sounds great, but really it's just a marketing spin. Those payments are typically just rolled into your loan balance and they're due later. You're not skipping any payments. Escrow refund. This is an illusion. It's not a refund. It's actually just your own money because your own money is in escrow and it's just being returned from the escrow account. Thousands in cash back. Watch out for this one. It's promising large sums from your interest rate reduction refinance loan. Our cash out refinancing often comes with costs or inflated fees. So be really careful with misleading refinance offers and being contacted with these unsolicited contacts. Legitimate lenders will not aggressively pursue you out of the blue. Be wary of email, phone calls, flyers that you didn't request. And the bottom line is refinancing can be very smart. When we had those low interest rates a few years ago, it was amazing. But always take time to review your loan estimate and your closing disclosure, and talk to the VA Regional Loan Center and ask about them. And again, go to bbb.org or Scam Tracker, check on that lender themselves, reviews and everything. Now, when we're choosing the right lender, there's several things that I want to go here. Whether it's your first time buying or your 11th, choosing the right VA lender is critical. Not all lenders are created equal, and not all are experienced for VA home loans, and not all might not be for what you are needing at this time. Just like you were saying, you were buying from overseas here or there. Are they going to be able to help you when you need it? So here are some points. Work with a VA approved lender. Make sure your lender is VA approved and has real experience for VA loans. So ask them, how many VA loans have they closed? Can they help you navigate all your steps from obtaining certificate of eligibility? While you have to do that yourself and getting military documents, they should know how to help you or show you where to go if you have no idea. Do they have the right service style for you? This is really important. Do you prefer digital communication or in-person support? Find a lender that fits your communication preference and has a dedicated team that's available when you need them, especially during weekends or after hours. Not all lenders work on weekends or will stay with you once you're under contract. A lot of people don't understand that you might be talking to one person, but once you're under contract, you will never talk to them again. Some lenders only work Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. So if you need help on a Saturday, you're not getting it. And again, digital communication or in person. I have people that really like to talk to their lender in person, and sometimes certain lenders don't have anybody sitting right here in your area. So Make sure you talk to them about that whole process from start, pre-approval to settlement. Also, speaking of settlement, ask about closing times. VA loans timelines can vary from 30 days to 45 days. Ask about the average closing time to avoid delays and what can cost you your dream home, because Every loan processor is different, and some can process VA loans faster. Doesn't mean they're not doing a bad job. Some are just really good at what they do. And sometimes the faster you can close, you might be able to win a house in a very tight market. We are still in a tight market here in Baltimore, so but every market's different. So please understand that. Also, compare offers and terms. Please talk to multiple lenders. Have them, write everything down, break it all the costs down and compare them. Interest rate, loans, terms, estimated monthly payments for where you would like to be, all those closing cost fees, and everything side by side. And as I said, vet your lender using the BBB.
Yeah, I think I've heard you mention some really useful tools. I've heard you talk about the scam tracker and how to verify, making sure that someone is VA loan approved and checking into them. So I did want to give you an opportunity to explore some of these BBB tools more and show us exactly where do we find them, how do we use them, walk us through what that process looks like.
Yes, of course. So the Better Business Bureau works to serve, as we said, serve all consumers. So when we were creating these tools, we created them for the before, during, and after process. So it's really kind of this synergy that there's something there for you at every time, no matter what. So let's go for BBB Scam Prevention Guide. As scams constantly evolve, the Scam Prevention Guide helps us stay one step ahead. It's an online tool with quick tips, quizzes, real data on today's common scams, a library of resources, and a great tool you can share with veterans, military, spouses, kids, everybody. And the best part, honestly, is the risk calculator that's on there. This one is a lot of fun. It takes just a minute. You answer a few questions like your age, your gender, location, and background, and it tells you which scams you're most at risk for. Which is really interesting. And why does that matter? Because knowing your top risks helps you spot warning signs early. For example, if you're more likely to be targeted by online shopping scams, you'll learn exactly what to watch out for in that case. So this is a great tool to learn and educate yourself at any time. You can also sign up for scam alerts. So when new scam trends are happening and alerts, you will receive those in your inbox. It's a great thing to set up so you're staying on top of what we are seeing as well that are out there. So highly recommend it. Always staying aware, as you said before. This scammers are always changing. They're growing, and we have to stay aware and talk about it.
For sure.
Yeah. And the next is the kind of the during, or am I being scammed? I need to research. What am I doing? I've been scammed. The BBB Scam Tracker is a consumer prevention and reporting platform. And the Scam Tracker Risk Report that we talked about earlier and the Military Consumer Report is powered by the real stories that people have submitted through the Scam Tracker. And we, of course, make everything in all published reports anonymous on here for the scam trackers. And so there's two things, searching scams. So when you come here and you're wondering if that email that somebody sent me, or that URL, or just typing it in, sorry, you can look it up. You hit the look up scam button and type in any information you have, and you can see if anybody else may have reported that same exact thing. And, that will help you go on there. And then if you do find out it is a scam, whether you've lost money or not, we highly recommend to please report whether you've lost money or not, information, report the scam. That way, if somebody else comes in here and searches for that email address or whatever, they will find it, because trust me, if you interact with it in your area, somebody else is going to interact with it in your area. So you taking the time to report it, even if you didn't lose money, is really beneficial and helping everyone out. So that is what the Scam Tracker is for. It's a great tool to report and search. And it will also take you to some on things that how different scams work as well. And you'll notice up at the top, there's also the prevention guide, and we'll go into the next one, the survival toolkit links as well.
Before you do, Rachel, so I just wanted to double check. So earlier when you talked about some of those like false Facebook rental ads or, verifying a VA lender, is this where someone could enter them into the Scam Tracker and do that research? And if they did notice some of those red flags that you mentioned, is this where they'd also report those individuals and their websites and their alleged companies?
Yes, they can. Yes, so they can search them here, and then they can report them here. And then just going to your bbb.org to verify the ratings of a local lender. That's another place to go, to verify the ratings or anything of a local lender. Because when a report does come in on someone, they will research it and everything and see what's going on, especially if it is, a local lender trying to commit something that's a fraud or something like that. So that one will go a little bit, because that's somebody sitting right here, not somebody just behind chatting on a keyboard. Even though we take those seriously, sometimes those are really hard to deal with. So the Scam Tracker, in 2024, it's an estimated 43 million that we helped people not lose because of them just searching scams. They searched it, they found out it was a scam, and it stopped them from continuing on. So it's, a really useful tool. So, and as I was mentioned, I've got to get on it. In our research, we found that 73% of military consumers reported scams to a third-party organization like us. However, about 20% did not report. And among those who didn't report, about almost 44% didn't know where to go. And then 12% felt too embarrassed to come forward. And scammers thrive in silence. The less we talk about it, they love it, because then people don't know what to talk about it. So as I said, your report helps defend us, and starting the conversations, talking to people about scams, even if you don't have time to report it, just maybe talking to your neighbor about it, is going to be helpful. So keep having open and honest conversations, and it can help stop these scams in our military community and help support.
For sure.
Yeah. So next up is our Scam Survival Toolkit. So what happens, after the scam? What do we do? I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? So the Scam Survival Toolkit assists those who've been impacted scams using trauma-informed design and empathetic language to help calm, center, and connect you with vital resources. There's actual videos and quotes from some scam survivors, and this helps you go on a user journey to navigate the Scam Survival Toolkit. So it produces a personalized recovery plan with links that empower you to take action, and it can restore your financial and mental emotional well-being. Now, it's not going to promise to get your money back. I do have to say that. But, being able to be more confident and come back to, come back to the internet, come back online, because that can be difficult for a lot of people as well. If you were scammed online, it might hurt to come back to something that, scammed you online. Also here, it does have, if you select as an individual, if you're a military affiliated veteran or spouse, because it will also point you and add military resources to your recovery plan as well. So it tailors to that side for you as well, making sure that you have those resources that are to support our military service members. So that's another added bonus here as well to your recovery plan. So those are our great resources, and they work everywhere. So if you're OCONUS, it works. If you're in the US, it works, and they're meant for everyone. So I highly recommend, using them, bookmarking them. They're great. If you just bookmark Scam Tracker, all the other ones are at the top. So I recommend these are great tools to utilize.
That's perfect. I think that's such great information. And just knowing that there's someone that's there to support you and walk you through that very stressful process, I think would be really helpful. Even if, like you said, you can't guarantee that the money would be returned, but giving someone the mental and emotional calm to be able to take that next step, fill out that paperwork, or do whatever they need to do next to protect themselves. I think having that support makes all the difference. So really grateful that those tools exist. And I know we're getting to the end of Rachel's time with us today. So those who are with us live, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, in the comments, and Rachel can address them for you. If you're watching during the replay, we can still get them to her. So we encourage you to email us at GoVA and reach out with any questions that you have. Also, I just wanted to point out there are a lot of scam and fraud resources on The Edge, which is our free financial platform to the military and veteran community. So as we're wrapping up today, Rachel, I want to hear for anyone that is in our audience that might be planning an upcoming move. Do you have a step-by-step plan to help keep them protected and make sure that they're making smart choices throughout that move?
Yes, of course. So I won't go through all of these, but this is for every move, every time. So, first and foremost, we're always hectic, but slow down and verify everything. And this is everything: transportation, moving companies, the rentals, lenders, everything. Verify. Trust your instincts, trust your gut. Listen to yourself. You know this, so listen to yourself. Talk with friends and family members or the new unit before making huge decisions. Hand carry important things or even valuables that can't be replaced. Orders, wills, deeds, marriage certificates. We know that, but please hand carry it. Switch to using strong passwords and enable multi-factor authentication on all your accounts. Set up account alerts on all your bank and credit cards. Credit monitoring and credit freeze is really important. Set up mail forwarding to prevent identity theft and missed bills. And protect your personal information and your money. Never send it to anyone until everything's been verified again. So every move, every time. This right here just doesn't matter what transaction you're getting into. If it's not even, if it's medical, a new medical or new child care, take the time to make sure you're verifying, even with a new job that you might be trying to find at the new place. And overall, general red flags of a scam. A lot of scams, doesn't matter whether it's moving or, an employment. Scams overall have general red flags. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If they're asking you to act immediately, or if they're asking you to use Bitcoin or to use untraceable funds, they require large upfront payments. They want you to move from platforms to platforms, unprofessional communication, and they contacted you first. Unsolicited contact. They messaged you first, really think about that. And they also ask you to complete applications or sign blank forms just in case. That's another thing. Don't sign something just in case or blank forms. Yeah, stay away from that. And I'm just going to give a shout out real fast to Military OneSource, Plan My Move, /militaryOneSource.mil. I don't believe in recreating the wheel. If you have not seen this, highly recommend saving it. It will build you your own custom checklist. If for anything, at least it might help you remember something you forgot. Highly recommend using it. It's not our resource, but it's fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah. So I have to give it a shout out because it's great. So, and that's just normal moving stuff, not more of, So I just have to give that a shout out.
Yeah, the Military OneSource is always a great resource. Obviously, they have so many tools and tips there. And of course, the BBB has a lot of their tools that Rachel's reviewed today. So I really hope that those who are watching this, that you will check out some of those tools and resources, bookmark those pages, talk to your friends and your local community and other military families about what you've learned, because I am sure there is something that was new to you today that you did not know how to do before, or that you haven't seen commonly in our communities. So let's all look out for each other, keep each other safe. And again, I just want to invite everyone who is in the military or veteran community to join The Edge. It's a free resource provided by GoVA, and we have tons of financial resources, but there's also a whole section on identity theft, protecting yourself from scams, and you can do some of this research that Rachel has mentioned when she talked about like comparing the VA loan rates. There's a great interest rate comparison tool on The Edge. So there's just a lot of information there that will help to help prepare you and support you through whatever move is coming up next for you and your family. And we really just want to thank you, Rachel, for giving your time and your expertise with us today. I know that you've shared a lot of valuable things with our audience. Thank you. This is perfect.
Yeah.
So here are the links and the resources that she's mentioned, and I'll make sure that they're also available in our notes afterwards so that you'll all get live clickable links to these resources. But so much there on the BBB website, so much available through GoVA on The Edge, and we're all just here to together support and encourage and empower our military community. So thanks again, Rachel. If anyone does have questions, you can reach out and follow up with us. You can find us on gova.com. And Rachel, what's the best way for them to find you?
They can email me, but they can also go to the Institute website at bbbmarketplacetrust.org, and you can find out all about the work that the Institute does.
Well, I admire the work that you're doing. I think it has been great, and I hope that it has been a valuable resource to our community today. So thanks again, and we hope that you all stay safe out there.